Hi, this is Arthur from ttmpalawan.com. Today I'm going to talk about how to make your own yogurt. It's so simple, it's just awesome. When you use a Bulgarian yogurt starter, you can prepare your own yogurt without using a yogurt maker. So don't worry about the yogurt maker. All you need is milk and a pack with the yogurt starter. Everything else you already have at home. For best results, we recommend using whole milk, although you can use low fat or skim if desired. The instructions I'm going to give you today is for 2 liters of fresh milk. If you use anything else like skim milk, goat milk, UHT milk, milk powder, you will maybe need to adjust quantities accordingly. The best way is just to experiment until you have your perfect yogurt. Ingredients is 2 liters of fresh milk and a half content of the packet. To prepare the yogurt is only 5 simple steps. The first step is bring the milk to a gentle boil. The milk should boil for about 2 to 3 minutes in order to kill any existing bacteria in it, which could react with the Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Milk boils at about 100 Celsius, so 212 Fahrenheit. Be careful not to burn it, otherwise your yogurt will taste like burnt milk. So when you put 2 liters of milk in a pan, boil it gently until it starts forming bubbles. Then you know it's got the right temperature. You can use a thermometer. And then once you see it's boiling, keep stirring it, otherwise it will burn, and that will have an effect on the yogurt flavor. It's often not so nice. So make sure to have a low flame. Keep stirring it for about 2 minutes, and then you can put off the flame. And then it's time for step 2 is let the milk cool down to about 43 Celsius or 110 Fahrenheit. So after the milk is boiled for about 2 minutes, make sure to put the flame off, and then it's just a matter of let it cool off. The easiest way to test for the right temperature is you can use a thermometer, but just dip your finger in the milk, and if you can keep your finger in there for 5 or 10 minutes, 10 counts comfortably, the temperature should be fine. Step number 3, after the temperature is okay, it's time for you to pour your milk into the container you want to make the yogurt in. Make sure to use a sieve because often there is some residue in the milk after you boiled it. And then step number 4, after the milk has been put in a container and has the right temperature, then it's time to add your starter. Make sure that it has the right temperature, otherwise the starter will not work and you will kill the starter. So once temperature is correct, anything lower than 42 Celsius, once the temperature is correct, you can add the starter to it. And if you want a thicker kind of yogurt, to increase thickness, add some milk powder. So mix well, make sure to mix the starter, and if you want a thicker yogurt, add the milk powder to it. Stir it well, make sure there's no lumps in there for about 5 minutes so it kind of resolves into the milk. If you use more than one container, distribute the pack of the starter evenly in proportion to the volumes and the size. And then once that is done, then it's time for step number 5. Cover the container with milk loosely with a lid. Make sure that you do not close the lid. I prefer to cover it with a tea towel or a towel so it can still breathe. It's very important, it needs to breathe. So cover the container, step number 5. Cover the container with milk loosely with a lid. Make sure not to tighten it. Wrap the container well in a blanket or cover with a tea cozy and let it sleep. Keep it out of any draft, preferable something in a dark space. But if you cover it with a tea towel, it's already dark. So that should work fine. Make sure do not close the container with the lid because it needs to breathe. There needs to be air for the milk to breathe, so it can ferment and become the yogurt. Those are the 5 simple steps to make a yogurt. Once you've done that, then it's just a matter of waiting. The fermentation process will continue until the milk reaches a pH of 4.7. The fresh yogurt will be set in about 6 to 8 hours. It really depends on the temperature. If the place is too cold, say 50 Fahrenheit or 10 Celsius or less, it could take longer, maybe 10 to 12 hours. But that is really not a problem. In general, leaving the yogurt to sit for a long after it is set will result in a thicker and more acidic yogurt. So the longer you wait with putting it in a fridge, the thicker it will become, but also the more acidic it will become. When your yogurt is ready, move it to the fridge. Make sure to cool it off, otherwise it will continue fermenting and it become more and more acidic. Keep the remaining yogurt starter in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. Remember to put your starters in the freezer. It doesn't work in a ref. It needs to be put in a freezer. So store your starters always in the freezer, and then they should work perfectly, and there should be no problems with making your own yogurt time again and again. So after, say, 10 hours, depending on your place and location, some people only need to do it for 6 hours, and you think you have the perfect yogurt, just put it in your ref, and then it's ready for eating. I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions or comments or feedback, contact me or us at info@ttmpalawan.com or call us at 09 1000. I would love to hear from you. This was Arthur from ttmpalawan.com, and until next time.